What's up? Welcome back to Nowstalgia. Dave here with a review of Camila Cabello's fourth album, C XOXO. Camila Cabello, pop star, Fifth Harmony alum, of course, the most established soloist of all the former Fifth Party members. We know it well at this point. And yeah, Camila Cabello has begun a sonic reinvention, a path forth for new sonic ideas, which was made abundantly clear with the release of the lead single, I Love It, featuring Playboy Cardi. And, on one hand, it's something you can look on with a glass half full kind of view, an artist deciding to do something new, taking a risk, which is usually commendable, independent of the results. You like to see someone not playing it safe. On the other hand, it does come across as perhaps a bit of brand management, tactical change to the musical career, given that Camila is often kind of looped into the bucket of pop stars that are kind of lacking the lore, so to speak, and how lore and meta-ness and memedom is so integral to getting attention, even though that in theory should be antithetical to the success of your art. I think people understand how that works within pop these days. So I was coming in with an open mind, wasn't really sure what to expect with this Camila album after hearing I Love It. And she's an artist who I've enjoyed some of her solo work before. Of course, Havana was a monster hit, but also for good reason. I enjoyed other moments on that debut album. I thought the second album also had some highlights for sure. And even if maybe she had been a bit uneven to this point, I definitely think there was things to like about Camila. Camila Cabello's fourth album, C XOXO, is a long way off from Havana. That much is obvious. And this sonic reinvention from Camila, it comes across as somewhat effective, I would say. The production choices are definitely a change for Camila, and that's probably the most consistent thing about this album. The lead single, I Love It, was suggesting a hyperpop lane. She doesn't really go down this lane on the rest of the album. I think the biggest issue with a lot of these choices being a bit less traditional with the sound and kind of positioning herself as more edgy with her lyrics, even if I don't think it's that much of a risk a lot of the time songwriting wise. Camila's vocal performance is very uneven on this album. I don't think this type of genre shift necessarily suits her. She's given us good strong songwriting before. I didn't feel like the album really backed up how it was discussed, and the intrigue isn't there beyond the surface. I Love It in particular is really quite the curious song to me, just because Camila and Playboy Cardi have next to no chemistry on this song. Cardi just very much feels copy pasted onto the song, and yet there are moments of it that I kind of like, even if I also at the same time think the song is bad. It's definitely a curious one. The Diamonds on My Chain with the V-cut performance from Camila, that's very catchy with the pitched up voice, and in a sense that almost meets Cardi, but then Cardi jumps in and he's just kind of doing his mumbling, current voice these days. And it's a weird song. It's a song I listened to a few times though, I'll admit, so I don't know. I think the second song, Chanel Number 5, one of the stronger ones on the whole track list, to be honest. I enjoyed the vocals from Camila in this one just because it's a lot more playful. And then on the other hand, the second verse, the auto-tune is super OD on that one, perhaps too much. The fourth song, though, He Knows, featuring Lil Nas X, I thought this song was not good at all. I thought both of them in particular were quite bad. They don't really match the energy of each other, and it's continuing a pretty poor run of form from Lil Nas X, to be honest, an artist who I still like. But yeah, this one was, I think, just kind of weird. 20-somethings is funny because you get acoustic sounds for the first time on the track list at this point. It really comes out of nowhere, but I think the song's actually pretty okay. Dade County Dreaming, featuring both City Girls, JT and Young Miami, despite the fact that the City Girls are seemingly broken up and currently beefing. Perhaps this is the swan song for the City Girls. Of course, the Miami connection between Camila and the City Girls. Kind of a cool song. I think JT and Young Miami both sound pretty good on it. Of course, JT sounds really great. My only issue with this song is I think when Camila does that kind of pitter-patter, almost hip-hop suggestive cadence, I just don't really feel like it suits her that much. I don't think it works that much. We have to talk about the two Drake songs, though. Of course, when Camila and Drake were spotted in the studio together, recording together, I believe in the Caribbean somewhere. Made a lot of noise, of course, and it was a professional thing, of course. And we get Hot Uptown featuring Drake, and then a Drake interlude, which just features Drake and no Camilla, called You Ugly. And Hot Uptown, I think, is great. This is a very much melodic Drake, but Camilla and Drake are almost in the mood, in the vein of almost like a classic Drake Rihanna collab, to be honest. Maybe that sounds blasphemous, but I thought they really worked together great on the song. I thought Drake was right at home on this. Think Passion Fruit, think Hotline Bling, like very much leaning into that side of himself for sure. Of course, this is coming at a hilarious time, and what a bad beat for Camilla that she gets a huge Drake feature and not a throwaway one by any means. And of course, it's coming at Drake at his culturally weakest moment, of course, following the Kendrick beef and the summer of Kendrick with Not Like Us, etc., etc. You know the story. There was some talk that maybe this song was supposed to be a single for this album, and then they swapped it out at Drake's request, and the Lil Nas X song became one of the singles instead. Not sure if that'll ever be confirmed, but I think it's actually a good song, and I think people will discover it over time because Drake's popularity is not going to take much of a hit, as we know, so it'll just take a little time, I'd imagine. But yeah, I think that song's pretty good. You Ugly, I mean, it's you can kind of guess what Drake's talking about. It's fine. Dreamgirls, I didn't quite place the sample, but I really enjoyed this song. I think the snare tempo is pretty fun. BOAT, like I think there's some moments on that one that I enjoy where Camille is almost kind of like flowing with the beat. Sounds pretty cool. Pretty When I Cry, this one's upbeat. This one's surprisingly upbeat given the title, and I think this song's actually quite fun. And then the last song, June Gloom, slow moments, but I think this clearly the strongest lyrics on the whole album. And yeah, I think that's actually like a great closer with Pretty When I Cry and June Gloom, to be honest. And that's actually where I think the lyrics actually kind of work with Camilla, who's trying to be suggestive and edgy throughout the whole album, again, to pretty up and down effectiveness. But on the last song, June Gloom, does she get this wet for you, baby? I mean, like that's a very explicit bar, So yeah, I think this is probably, we would think, the sign of Camilla taking this to the next level. So maybe the next album will kind of hone this for Camilla, because a lot of this sonically, production-wise, is new for her. And I think if she could get the pen more consistent and focused like she did on the first two albums, maybe we're on to something here. I'm not opposed to this reinvention at all. I just think it's kind of up and down so far. But we'll see how it progresses. And I think the Drake song's awesome. But yeah, let me know. What did you think of Camila Cabello's fourth album, C XOXO? What did you think of this sonic pivot? And for more music reviews, subscribe. And I'll see you next time.